Mga binati o binahal kong Subuanon. My fellow Filipinos, good afternoon. I know that for many of you, members of media, you have been trying to reach me the entire day, requesting for my reaction to the President's statement yesterday night as regards the implementation of the IATF guidelines in Cebu. You will forgive my inability to respond since I was then on my way to this island of Bantayan. I am now in Santa Fe, Bantayan. We had just finished another round of caravan of government, provincial government services where we distributed vitamins to our frontliners, all BHWs, BNS, daycare, Baha, Tanod, BHERTS, as well as all of our senior citizens. We distributed assistive devices to our PWDs and distributed vegetable seeds to all of our district supervisors in the Department of Education and all of our chiefs of police in continuance of the Sugbusog program, now expanded to all of our high school and elementary schools in the province of Cebu, as well as all police stations in the province of Cebu. So as you can see, I have had my hands full. But now that we are through with what I considered was really a very important activity, I am here now to respond to your many questions, and in response, allow me to merely make a statement. For the past several weeks, the nation has been witness to a clash of opinions as well as protocols between the IATF swab on the 7th day, 10-day hotel stay, and 4-day quarantine at home protocol, and the Cebu protocol, which takes the swab on the day of arrival or swab upon arrival with a negative result in 2 or 3 days. The ROF or OFW is allowed to go home to continue his quarantine period, his 14-day quarantine period in his own home. And on the 7th day, in compliance with the IATF guidelines, another swab is taken. These protocols, embodied in EO 17, were later adopted by virtue of a provincial ordinance 2021-04. And as far as the province of Cebu is concerned, this provincial ordinance was the effective law of the province. Many opinions have been cast. The IATF had insisted on the implementation of its own guidelines, where the only basic difference, of course, is the 10-day hotel stay vis-a-vis or in comparison to the 2 to 3 day stay of the ROF or OFW in the hotel. Because all the rest we are in agreement. There also still is a 7th-day swab, and the entire 14-day quarantine is completed, whether it be in the 10-day hotel stay and 4-day stay at home, or in accordance with the Cebu protocol, a 2 to 3 day hotel stay and then spending the rest of the 14-day quarantine at home. Now, as we understand last night, the President himself has stated that Cebu must follow the IATF guideline, which is national policy and which supersedes local law. In deference to the President, I am announcing right now that the executive order that I issued, EO 23, yesterday, reminding all heads of government agencies that the provincial ordinance was in effect, and reminding all of the possible criminal and administrative charges that may be filed upon violation of such ordinance. This executive order I am now setting aside in deference to the President, even as we look forward to the scheduled meeting on the 28th of June with Secretary Duque and the same technical experts who had advised the President last night as regards the need to strictly implement the IATF guidelines. Allow me to thank President Rodrigo Roa Duterte for recognizing the wisdom of my plea that we give human consideration to the OFWs and ROFs who come home mostly not for leisure, but for the greater majority of them, they come home for family emergencies. An additional 10-day stay at the hotel burdens our ROFs. And for this, allow me to thank again the President for announcing last night that the ROFs, aside from the OFWs, will not need to pay the hotels, since this will be answered for by the national government. This certainly lessens the financial burden of our ROFs. Insofar as the emotional and psychological burden of having to stay for 10 days in the hotel, may I plead to our OFWs and ROFs that the Cebu provincial government will continue to keep an open mind, listen to these technical experts, even as we hope that Secretary Duque and these technical experts will also keep an open mind once they come to Cebu, observe what is happening in Cebu, and listen as well, as we will closely listen to them, to listen as well to the data, the science, the experience, and actual ground reality that we shall present. In so doing, even as I set aside EO 23, we shall continue with the swab upon arrival policy, because we have found that doing this gives us better control at those that arrive already testing positive. This shall continue at no cost to the arriving OFWs and ROFs, even as, of course, the 7th-day swab will again be ministered to these arriving Filipinos on the 7th day. So I hope that this settles all questions that have been spinning around for the past many hours of today. We shall await, hopefully, a win-win solution after this meeting between the provincial board and Secretary Duque and these technical advisors. For this is what, after all, we seek to find. Common ground in order to reach a solution that considers all factors. Of course, safety and health, as well as human considerations and financial cost. So that is all I have to say. Our ROFs and OFWs, may you continue to be our modern day heroes. Thank you, President Duterte, for trying to find a solution to the financial burden of a 10-day hotel stay for returning Filipinos. Mabuhay ang Sugbo, and may God bless the Philippines.